My name's Jane Treadwell, and I'm the Government Transformation Lead for Asia Pacific and Japan in AWS's Government Transformation Team. I was the Digital Development Global Practice Manager for Asia, Pacific, Europe, and Latin America for the World Bank. But I was also CEO of DesignGov in the Australian Government. Well, interestingly, it's more than thinking. It's actually designed by doing, and it's a disciplined set of actions that takes you from your current state to a preferred future state. Design thinking is the combination of method, mindset, and then faith, because once you allow the ecosystem into the designing lab, you can't shut them out again. And through the process of understanding and observation, of digging deep on the analytics when you find them, refining that problem statement in an open way, and then encouraging ideas and solutions to be brainstormed, and then going through a prototype process. It's actually understanding people, where they live and what they do, and how best to work with them to solve some aspect of their lives, which it may well be around an entitlement system for government. It may well be looking at microfinancing, looking at how mobile phones can best be deployed and what problems they might solve using that device, because it's available reasonably low cost. And it can be the sort of the gateway to a better world, for farmers in India to actually know what the price of their crop might be, 5 kilometers away or 5 miles away. These were some of the sort of the early things, but it's not just throwing technology at a problem. It's actually looking at how best to deploy technology. In DesignGov in Australia, we were asked to look at how to improve business and government relations and interactions, because it was so fractious. And so we employed ethnography people and a lot of historians who would actually work with the public servants who came and worked with us, to actually give them the techniques and means of observation without interference. What we discovered were there are many assumptions that were being made about red tape reduction. As it turned out, it wasn't the quantity of red tape that was the problem for small business, it was the fact that it kept on changing. One of the solutions that was generated was the notion of a multi-agency fix-it squad that would receive requests from small business to actually deal with the conflict between various regulations. And then this group of people would go out and observe and discuss and come back with practical solutions that were designed to sort of fix that problem within 6 to 12 weeks. Leaders now are coming to grips with the fact that there is real benefit in zeroing in on the real problem, that there are costs to be saved. Well, the easy thing is there's a lot of problems that need solving. You'll find design thinkers and people who are part of the sort of problem-solving community. They might actually be next door. There are, of course, skilled designers. People go and get degrees in design, but you can also, for many of the leaders as well as staff in public sector, they can obtain the skills to actually understand the questions to ask and to try it out. The team that's involved gets extraordinarily engaged with the problem itself and trying to solve it, but they learn so much. So there's a lot of learning and excitement and joy, because this is applying a natural process. You talk to people, you observe what's going on, you actually look at how you might fix things, you test it out. So there's a lot of productivity and enjoyment. Customer satisfaction is fundamentally there because they've actually told you what works and what doesn't.
My name is Chris Go. I'm the General Manager of a long acronym called CORAL, Customer Oriented Registration and Licensing, as part of Transport and Main Road in Queensland. If we look back 100 years ago, 110 years ago, we issued our first physical driver's license. And one of the key things that we've had to understand is how has the value proposition of that product or service changed for the customer, and can we leverage it for more things? So when we went out to the community, we didn't understand that a subway in Toowoomba, in order to get access to the toilet and a big wooden spoon with the key tied onto it, you actually needed your driver's license. We didn't know that if you went to a Hoyt cinema and got a VR goggle, you show your driver's license. So the community has taken that product and changed it to something that serves different things, from reducing red tape from a regulatory point of view, to just providing simple access to utilities. And we've had to change in that thinking as well. I'm in the world of identity, and people have a lot of baggage what identity is. And part of the challenge is trying to unpack that for people and insert the value proposition to a new semantic you want them to attach to, if that makes sense. That's certainly my hardest issue. And also mindset. So I come back from a place where people go, Chris, we're in the business of keeping people safe, not about creating more commodities. And I go, how about if we can provide that safety, but do it in a way that makes more economic sense and provides us larger policy levers? I mean, the thing that we can immediately do in the next 12 months is to put a lot of the physical credentials into the digital space. What we hope, though, with these credentials and understanding the life experiences as well as those things around interventions, we can push that faster and be more deliberate about it. So like, say for instance, in the future we have a cyclone event, they rush out with just a shirt on their back. They shouldn't have to wait for the NDRAA funding to come through and then apply for it, and that they will come out and straight away they've got an alert and go, you've got $1,000 and you can now buy the shirts, extra shirts and nappies for your children, and you can get medication for your kids straight away. And that's what I mean about a reactive government, is that, you know, we don't need you. It's not your onus to continually to prove your worth to us. You already prove your worth because you're taxed enough. We want to now respond to you in kind and say that we've got you. I think you retest your boundaries of policy, and don't use them as your requirements, but use them as your baseline from where you need to improve. The second one is reverse your policy statements to a value proposition rather than a risk statement. So instead of saying, I need to stop drink driving, change it to, how do I make sure I keep the community safe? The third one, and again, I don't think it's any sort of secret sauce for anybody. I think it's about investing in the possible rather than blocking the impossible. Because what I mean by that is that sometimes we don't quite know what the final value is. We have to go on a bit of a journey and investment, but we roughly know that these are the outcomes we want to deliver the customer, and that's why it's really important to experiment. But what we've realized is that when we talk to customers and we went out and we said, okay guys, what do you view as identity? And the first thing they say is, well, we use our driver's license as an identity. You know, when we go to the liquor shop, we go to the tattooist, or we go to the pharmacist when we want, you know, pseudoephedrine, that's what we show. And that for us, it took, because it's not in our legislation, and it went through an entire review. So the tipping point was, we said we think we're in the identity business. Customers were smarter than us and using it for decades before we've actually identified it. And so the question then you have is, do you fight against that like a rip and create your own identity? Or do you leverage what you have, use the cultural, or accept the cultural norm that your customers have and make it easy, and then build around them?